Welcome back, Science in the Park fans. Today I'm going to show you how to finish up our paper rocket launcher by showing you how to make a controller and how to mount the launcher to our base. The nice thing about this base with this launcher is it's adjustable, so you can shoot up straight or you can shoot at some angle for some distance. So I'll be showing you once again how to put this together and the controller. For the controller, I just cut off about 5 inches of the 1.5 inch PVC pipe, and then I have 2 caps. I have drilled a 1/4 inch hole here, and I'm going to pull my wire through there, and then I have about a 1/2 inch hole, and this is where my switch will be. I just went to my local hardware store and asked for this is 16 gauge landscaping wire. And I'm going to start off by just pulling it through this 1/4 inch hole. When you're working with electricity, even if, in your home, always pull a little extra out. That way it's a lot easier to work with too much wire than too little wire. And then I'm going to just dry fit this on. And so that's the bottom of my controller. And then you're going to want to put all this in series. So everything is going to make a nice loop with your battery. So this is a 9-volt harness and connector. And I can go ahead and start with this, and it doesn't really matter positive or negative in the direction on this. It just needs that little electricity going through it to open up the valve here. So I'm going to use a wire nut, and it's always a good idea to twist on the wire before you put the wire nut on it. Okay, so that's twisted on, and then make sure you twist it in the same direction that the wire nut's going to go. So righty's tighty. Okay. So now I have my harness connected to my landscape wire, and then I need my switch, which is got to be around right here. For the switch, you'll need a screwdriver. It has these little screws on here that's going to hold our wires on it. Now, just a word of caution, you probably don't want to put your battery on the harness until you're finished messing around with all the wires, while you're playing with this you can get shocked. It's a 9-volt, so if you ever put it to your tongue, it's the same, just on your finger, so it's not going to kill you, but it's not comfortable either. So just made a little hook with the wire, and I'm going to tighten that onto the screw. Do the same thing with this one. Open it up a little more because the wire is bigger. And another little trick, you can use the screwdriver to make your hook there. Okay, so I have my wire in. Tighten it down onto the wire. Okay. And then we're just going to use our little wire nuts here to do the same thing with our so the valve has these wires coming off, so we're going to connect our landscaping wire to the valve wires here, and I'm going to do it over here as well. I'm going to take some electrical wire and just tape it off. That way it'll take off some of the pressure. If there's ever it's pulled, it's going to pull on the wires and not pull on those joints there. So I'll do that in a second, but now I can test and see if my circuit's working. It's always better to test it before you get everything taped and it's not working. So I don't know if you can hear it, but you can hear that click when I press the button. So when I click it, it's opening up the valve and it'll shoot out the air. So now that I know that it's working, I can tape everything off using some electric tape. Just tape these two nuts together and then work my way down the wire a little bit. Like I said, this is just going to give it some strength, so if it's ever pulled on, it's not going to pull those wires out. And I guess it also gives it some protection from water, but hopefully you're not launching in the rain. Alright, so there is, so now I can tug on that a little bit and it's not going to pull those wires out. And do the same thing here. Just put a piece of tape around it so it's going to hold everything together and give it some strength, not break the wire. That's probably even more important for these where it has just the little pieces of wire there. It's not very strong. Okay, and so all of this will go inside here, and now you can pull some of that extra wire out. Now the switch is called a momentary switch. And there's two types of momentary switches. There's a momentary switch that is normally on, and there's a momentary switch that's normally off. And so this is a momentary switch that is normally off. So you're gonna push that. So like I said, I did all these holes earlier. So this is a 1/2 inch hole, and I just pulled my switch through, and then I can tighten this nut down onto it. You can dry fit it, or you can use some pliers. Okay, so there's my controller, so I can step back and fire. Alright, now that the cement is dry, I can attach my launcher to my base. So when I made the base, I just put it up, put my launcher on the base where I want it, then I marked where I wanted to drill the holes. And then once I've marked the holes, I just used a drill. I used the 1/4 inch drill bit to cut those holes. And then to string the zip ties, I just bent the zip ties, and I'm going to string 2 of them through at the same time, just right through that hole. And it's a lot easier to do the 2 at the same time than trying to do one and then do the other. So just make sure you get that bend into the zip tie, and they'll just come right up through. So now that my zip ties are through, I'm going to put my launcher on. And so it will sit right here next to the cap. So these ones will wrap around right next to the cap, and then these ones will wrap right around where I have my gauge. Just one, so these are pretty long zip ties, about 6 inches or more, but they won't wrap completely around the circumference of the PVC. So to get that full circumference, you need 2 zip ties. So I'm going to put this one on this one right here, and I'm going to push it all the way down until it gets to the hole. I'm going to push this one down all the way until it gets on the hole. That way the 2 ends here will be next to the hole. And now I can pull my longer zip tie. I'm going to have to turn this around so I can see. Now do the same thing to the other side. And now I'm all done with my launcher. I can adjust the height. I can launch from a distance just by pressing my button. All you need to do is pump it up between 30 and 50 psi, and you should be safe. I'll add some links on instructions on how to build it and also a link on the template. Well, there will be the same link. A template to make the actual paper rocket that goes on the end of this. All right, we'll see you next time.